Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode. I am very, very excited about this episode. And I know you guys hear me say that all the time, but today I am very excited because I have the amazing Charmaine Green-Forde on my episode. She has been here before. She's been here twice actually before. Episode 86 that we're both on is still like top 3. I think it's number 2 right now of most played, most listened to, most downloaded. Like, you guys loved it. She recently messaged me. She was commented on a post that I did on LinkedIn, and then she messaged me and was like, "Oh, based on your post, you should do, like, maybe this is a good idea for a podcast." And she just gave me a few names, like headings, like have the audacity. And today's episode was one of those headings. Based on that conversation, I ended up deciding to do a 3-part series, and this is part 1. And the series is basically talking about how Audacity is free. This is the Audacity series. I couldn't have had anyone else on here because Charmaine was the one that gave me the idea. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she is all things to all people. And I just think it's better if she introduces herself because I won't do her justice. So Charmaine, welcome, and introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Charmaine. I also go by Char. And I am the founder and CEO of Chapter 2, which is a people first consultant and coaching practice dedicated to helping organizations and people optimize to design their best chapters. Originally from Barbados and the auntie to an amazing 4-year-old who tells me what to do all the time.
And who will also probably be my boss in the next couple of years because he is that smart. Thank you for being here again. I'm very excited to start this episode. So this episode, again, guys, is Audacity part 1 of the series, and it is how to be unapologetic in negotiations. Guys, we want you guys to make money. We want to make money. We understand that money makes the world go round. And actually, the thing about money that I believe is that money gives you options. People always talk about how money gives you freedom. Yes, it gives you freedom because it gives you options. It gives you the option to say no. Because I've been in positions where I needed the job or I had to do certain things because I couldn't say no because I didn't have the money. And when you've grown up like that, being able to create the money for yourself, being able to put yourself in a better position is always a win-win. So we want to help you. Audacity is free, guys. Audacity is free. I'm going to say that repeatedly through this episode because it costs you nothing to have the audacity to go after everything you want. So me and Charmaine are going to be having like a conversation. You guys know how it goes. But Charmaine, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, when you read my post about Audacity, what triggered you into saying, oh, these would be some good podcast episodes?
The declaration that it's free. I mean, hello, people. It is free. Just like kindness, integrity, and hitting block or delete and not phone contact is free for you to do, so is Audacity.
Oh, I love that. So, Audacity is free. Why should women especially have more of it when it comes to negotiating salaries?
Women just need to operate in what my friend Boosie says is like their sovereignty. Like, operate in the space that is your God-given space and whatever you believe in, just your own center. Why not request, have discussion about what you are already entitled to? So often women, and we have research that shows this, more educated, doing all the qualifications, convincing ourselves that we need to go get X, Y, Z, P, Q, and R to prove something that you already have. If you have people out here running governments, you have people out here spewing things on social media and talking about subject matters that they are not experts in, with and sitting in that the audacity to do so. Why are women so afraid to just own what is theirs?
Oh, do you know what I love that you just said? You said that women are scared to go for what they're entitled to.
Entitled to.
That's a big, strong word. And I really liked it because I feel like we don't think we're entitled and we think that's a bad thing to be. Like, why should we feel so entitled? Like, just before we jumped on here, guys, me and
Yeah.
Charmaine were talking about all the audacious, all the men that are currently
Hmm.
in politics and around the world, the millionaires and the billionaires, and how much audacity they have, how much they show up on our TVs, on social media, and they say whatever they want. They do whatever they want. We all know what's happening right now in the US. And the person who is leading the US has all the audacity, like says what he wants to do and goes ahead and does it. Why do you think we don't think we're entitled to that bigger salary? Like what do you think, Charmaine, that stops us, especially women? Because I agree with you,
Hmm.
men will have all the audacity in the world. They know that it's free and they have audacity with us in relationships. They have audacity in their
Yeah.
jobs. They have audacity with most things in life. Why do you think that we don't think we're entitled? Because even when you said the word entitled, I was like, oh, that's a really big word. What makes us
Yeah.
entitled to these salaries?
Yeah. One, I think social conditioning, right?
Mm,
We are conditioned to not speak up. We're conditioned to accept what is given. We are told, I mean, even if you look at this from the religious angle, from the societal angle, there is often the subjugation of women in terms of how women are expected to engage, what women are expected to do. There is this mindset of women be grateful for what you are given. I don't see personally men being told to be grateful for
mm,
existing, yet women are told to be grateful for existing. Women are told to be grateful for being able to do something. I mean, if you think about even women's rights around the world, that's another thing in the US, women not getting the right to vote. To be very clear, not all women, right? Like the women's right to vote didn't apply to all women. It was some women, but that was only a few decades ago, right? So we are conditioned from birth to cater, to put down, tamper down the things that we need, and we are told what we need. So when you have women like the ones who listen to this podcast who are bold enough to reject those notions, you're going to get pushback. Even when we see research that goes out there, research says that women are, by and large, around the world, paid less than men for the same work.
hmm.
What
Absolutely.
we don't talk about enough is that women do attempt to negotiate,
Mm,
not as much as men, but there isn't like a vast percentage difference, right? It's the difference between the number of women who try to negotiate versus men who try to negotiate. I think is something like less than 10% delta.
ooh,
But even within that, that's not the narrative that gets pushed. The that gets pushed is that women aren't negotiating. They are. They're just being met with more resistance
yes.
because the people on the other end, some women included, because remember, it doesn't matter who you're negotiating with,
Hmm.
if you've been conditioned to have a certain belief, you may operate in that space, including another woman doing it to another woman, where you may say, oh my goodness, I can't believe this person is bold or maybe has the audacity, whatever word you want to apply, to ask for something more. So
Mm.
we also need to stop saying that women aren't negotiating because they are. And we need to focus on why are people upset that they are?
Oh, yes. Why are people upset? Like what you just said is so true. When I think about when you have to negotiate, even when you have to negotiate with other women, I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely been in my spaces, been in corporate for such a long time.
Yep.
I have heard women say about other women, who does she think she is? When the
Mm-hmm.
woman has tried, and when I think about that now, I'm like, what do you mean who does she think she is? Actually, they're asking themselves, they wouldn't have the audacity to ask for
Mm-hmm.
that. So they're like, but then if a man does the exact same thing, they'll be like, oh, he's really bold. Here in the UK, they'll be like, oh, he's a bit cheeky. He's really bold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't believe he asked for that. But you know what? Let's see what we can do for him. Versus when a woman asks for the same or even slightly less, they will
Mm-hmm.
be like, who does she think she is?
Mm-hmm.
And I think us as women, we need to start answering that question. Who do we think we are? Because the more we decide who we are, the less people can
Hmm.
tell us who we are. And I think the reason you are brave enough to even use the word that we're entitled to that money is because you understand that we work hard, especially
Yeah.
women who look like us. We work hard, we do extra, we
Hmm.
put in the hours, we've done the qualifications, we've gotten the experience, we do everything we're supposed to do,
Hmm.
yet we are probably some of the most underpaid people in the world.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because we don't feel like we're entitled to a piece of the pie. And
Hmm.
just for clarity, anyone listening, you're entitled to the whole cake, but we're
Hmm.
starting off humble
Hmm.
and we're starting off with at least a slice of the pie. But yeah,
Hmm.
I think that you're right. I've heard those conversations. I've actually heard women say about other women, who does she think
Hmm.
she are asking for that much money?
Hmm.
Yet she will be more qualified, more experienced, have delivered
Hmm.
more results than her male counterpart who's asking for even more. And
Yeah.
nobody bats an eyelid.
Yeah. Because again, even those women are conditioned. The women who are saying, who does
Mm,
she think she is? They're conditioned. And it's a reflection and a projection of how they feel about themselves because someone has told them, whether they heard that from childhood or whether they experienced it in the workplace, that what they wanted, they didn't deserve. But I will say, coming up in HR and building my career in HR and working at different companies, always at global companies, I've seen women struggle with even believing that they're entitled to it. It's
yeah,
women, from my experience, are waiting for permission, waiting for someone else to validate. Whereas men are like, I'm going to self validate.
yeah.
And that's the thing that we need to think a little bit more around. I know years ago, Google had done some research internally around their engineers because they looked at a certain level and said, wait a minute, there are a lot more men in leadership positions. Why is that? And what they found was that the men were applying for those more senior roles when they became available when they felt like they had around 60% of the qualifications. And women were waiting until they had 100%, or they believed they had 100% of that. So, what it meant was that the opportunities weren't going to the women because they weren't even sitting within their own selves, honoring themselves and saying, I'm just going to try this.
Oh,
So, if somebody at 60% was getting hired, why
can you
are we
imagine?
not thinking, "Well, let me do that too? And
Right.
who is it that you're trying to prove it to? And that goes back to you have people leading things, speaking on things, being the authority in areas they don't know nothing about. I can't tell you
Absolutely.
how many times I've spoken to my financial advisor, awesome dude, about the fact that whether it's TikTok, IG, all these places, you have people giving financial advice to people that is dead wrong. And they
Mm,
have hundreds of thousands of likes, engagement, impressions, followers, hanging on to every word, and it's not right.
hmm I I totally agree with you. And self-validation is such a hard thing for a lot of people. We
Hmm.
are looking for a lot of people are looking for that outside, for someone to say to them it's okay. So for anyone who's listening right now who needs a little bit of outside validation, we are giving you permission to
We're
have the
telling you it's
audacity,
okay.
yeah. We're telling you go open the door, go ask for more money. We're giving you the permission. But after we give you this permission, I want you to all remember that you didn't need it in the first place. You
Yeah.
never needed that permission. You just felt like you did, just like Charmaine said, because you've been conditioned to feel that way.
Hmm.
So, Charmaine, I wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
audacity, having audacity takes a lot of courage.
Hmm.
But what's one thing you've done in your career, maybe around salary negotiation or around anything in your career, where
Hmm.
you felt like it took a lot of audacity for you to actually go after that thing?
Started my business,
Oh, nice.
leaving corporate America, just saying, "Oh, I'm done with this nonsense. I can't do this. It's for the birds, and I'm not, and I'm not one of them. So I got to do something different." That was me really saying, the thing that you know. And one of the things you and I've talked about before is this whole confidence versus competence thing,
Mm,
right? And my belief that women are told so much about having confidence and kind of put down about that, but really what their natural confidence is sitting in their competence of knowing what they know that they know that they know. And for me, I'm looking around and saying, I'm saving this company money. I'm solving problems, operationally, personally, financially for these companies. And it's costing me my sanity in some places. And this is not what I want to do. I want to be able to help people on a larger scale. Working for corporations, I'm confined. I don't get to tell employees the things that I want to tell them because the employer is who I have to keep in mind, right? I can't say, oh, yeah, you could totally sue us, or you should sue us, or hey, this thing that happened shouldn't happen, so request X. I can't do that. So being on the outside allows me to be able to operate more in who I am and provide people with the information that they need. So that was audacity, right? Can I think about other things throughout my career? Absolutely. But for me, that audacity was sitting in that belief, that knowing that I know what I know what I know, and I have the experience and expertise to back it up. So all the credentials, great, but more importantly, the experience. So whether or not, you have that experience and expertise developed through a combination of formal education and experience, or just experience and expertise developed just because you were doing the darn thing, because I don't believe everyone needs to go to college for everything. Obviously, there's some industries and some fields and some disciplines that you have to have the credentials to go in to. I'm just sitting in what I know. You can't tell me that 20 years of experience and being at different companies and being successful, and you can't tell me that doesn't count for anything. So I didn't need someone else to tell me, oh, you can go do this. What I needed to do was be the voice telling myself, you should go do this.
Definitely. And you backed yourself. I think that's really important. You
Bet
were
on
willing to
yourself.
back yourself because leaving corporate, like a lot of listeners are going to be saying, you left a steady paycheck, you knew when you were getting
Mm-hmm.
paid, you knew all these things
Mm-hmm.
for a business where we both know when you become an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, the money is all over the place. You
Yeah.
don't know how much some months you're getting paid like double what you used to earn. And then other
Yeah.
months it's like, where is the money? It's like a well has
Yeah.
dried up. So the fact that you took that risk and you said, yes, I make a good salary here,
Mm-hmm.
but in the long term, I can make way better for myself because I have the
Mm-hmm.
expertise. It took you backing yourself. You
Yeah.
had to back yourself 100%. And
Mm-hmm.
I am a believer that if you are not willing to back yourself,
Mm-hmm.
how can you expect other people to back you?
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to be the one who goes first. Um, and starting a business is definitely or
Yeah.
like the most audacity you can have,
Yeah.
especially as a woman, especially as someone who hasn't done it before. When we
Yeah.
do anything that we've not done before, backing ourselves takes a lot of courage. So hats off to you firstly. But for anyone
Thank you.
listening, the fact that Charmaine started a business. And there are so many things in all of our careers that take audacity, but to
Mm-hmm.
leave what looks steady, what looks safe, because I think that's what a lot of people think our jobs are 9 to 5s, they're safe, they're
Yeah.
secure. That's how a lot of
And they're
people feel.
not. We can
They,
look what's happening. Look at
look at the
all these
world,
layoffs that we've been seeing for the last few years, increase
right?
in tech sectors across the board. So the things that people thought were safe weren't. And by no means or am I saying or we saying like, oh, entrepreneurship is like the surefire way. It, like
Absolutely not.
everything, it has its ups and downs, like Adele shared. But
Mm,
for me, what I got to the point was that to operate fully in my integrity, I needed
mhm.
to leave.
And
And,
that's
and
so
when you get
important.
to the point where you are so sure of your value system,
Mm,
because values are unwavering, values are the things that you are not backing down from. If you are declaring a value, but someone can talk you out of it or convince you to do something or that's not a value for you. Integrity is a personal value. It's one of my business values. So for me to operate fully in my integrity meant creating something more impactful.
and that's,
But with
I think
everything,
that's
there's a
key.
plan.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
I think that's key. Like you operated in your integrity and that meant
Yes.
entrepreneurship. I
Yeah.
remember for me, the first time I really had the audacity was when I said to someone, I deserve this much money. I don't care if I have a qualification or not. This is what
Yeah.
I can bring to the table. This is what I can do for you.
Yeah.
Now this is what I'm going to need you to do in return.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the like that I think triggered something in me when it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh okay, yeah, like this is the value that I stand on,
Mm-hmm.
and if I stand on this value 10 toes down, why have I let these people play in my face for years? Because listen, I'm not going to get it twisted, anyone who's listening. I definitely have had jobs that look good on paper and did not look good on my bank account.
Yep.
I have definitely let people play in my face
Mhm.
because I was the manager who didn't have the HR degree. So then I was like, oh, I can't ask these people for more money, even though they've got me doing all the things. Um, I've got people more qualified than me coming to me for help, but I still can't ask for the money because the fear in me was like, what you said earlier, Charmaine, just be grateful. Just be
Yep.
grateful that they
Mhm.
gave you this job, even though you haven't got a
Mhm.
qualification.
Mhm.
Just be grateful that you've changed industry and within 2 years you're a manager. Like, just be grateful. So I've definitely let people play in my face. So I want you guys to know that I'm not saying to you, having the audacity will happen overnight. But if you just start having the conversation and the thought in your head that actually, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Maybe it's time that I expect more from myself so I can get more from everyone else. Because I promise you, your company has the audacity to give you more responsibilities, more work,
All the
extra
time.
hours, come back to the office. You can't be at home anymore. You're doing too much remote work. Listen, your company has the audacity every single day of the
Yeah.
week. Why are we not having
Yeah.
the exact same
Yeah.
audacity and
Yeah.
advocating for ourselves?
And that's really what it comes down to. And Adele, for you, when you operated in your own, value system and
Mhm.
challenged that, what was the response?
The first response was very much, oh, you don't have you're not qualified, so you can't ask for that much money. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. And guess what, a few days later the response was, oh, we was wrong, you do have enough
There,
qualifications and
there we go.
experience.
And I thank you for sharing that. And I think that's something so important for everyone who's listening to understand. When you operate in your integrity, when you stand on your competencies,
Mhm,
people don't have a choice but to respond in a way that recognizes that.
mhm,
Will you always get what you ask for? No. But it's always a no if you don't bring it up. It is
right.
literally always a no. And Adele just said that companies have the audacity. They do. They have the audacity to set terms that protect their interests and
Mhm,
negotiate for those interests without apology. So why are you not operating in the same way to protect your own interest? That's the
absolutely.
energy we're telling you to match, right? Within this, they're protecting their own interests. A good negotiation means two people have a strong position that they're trying to get to some semblance of middle ground on. If you're not even having a strong position to operate in your own interest, you're just letting them operate fully and solely in their audacity without being checked. So it goes back to the title of our episode 80, 86. Who's going to check you, boo? You need to be the person that's going to check that company to let them know that to get you, this is what it's going to require.
Absolutely, and you've got to stand on it. Because you know how many companies I know that are so happy when they get like a really good worker for a really low budget. They're
Too
happy. I
many, too
promise you.
many.
They're dancing. They're having a party because they're like, a company is always happy when you do not know your own value. A company is
Yeah,
always happy when you do not know your worth because it means they can take advantage of the
yeah,
value that you don't even know that you have or that you bring
yeah.
to the table. So
Be
that's
audacious.
audacity. Yes.
Be
Be or
audacious because what being audacious means is that you're going to act without hesitation, without that
mm,
second guessing, without letting that inner voice take up a lot of space. So instead of this, oh, am I asking for too much mindset, shift that. I bring
hmm
value, and this
hmm
is the cost of that value. That is, if
Ooh,
nothing else, I want you to start that mantra. I bring value, and this is the cost of that value. And if you don't know the cost of that value, research it. I
ooh.
mentioned my nephew at the top of the hour, and he's 4, and his school does affirmations daily, and he does them at home too. And he will tell us, "Oh, I have it. We need to play affirmations before he goes to bed. When he wakes up in the morning, what is your affirmation statement? What is the thing that you're telling yourself until it becomes the truth that you need to hear over and over? Our entire lives as women, we are being told to be mindful. We're being told to be humbled. We're being told to, cater to everybody else. That's been the narrative. What if you started shifting that narrative and started your own affirmations that started retraining your brain? You have to unlearn so that you can relearn new things. So I encourage everyone who's listening, what is that mantra? How can you shift? I'm asking for too much, or am I in that questioning mindset? to remove that hesitation and just say, I bring value. And this is the cost of that value. And let that be your mantra instead.
I loved that. I literally, while you were saying that, FYI, I wrote it down because this has to be in the show notes. It also is going to end up being a post because the fact that you said, I bring value and this is the cost of the value, that's it. Let it be known. Like, let it be known, guys. If
Yeah.
you didn't hear that or catch it, I need you to rewind because that really sat with me. And I hope it sat with some of you because Charmaine really hit the nail on the head. You have to believe that you bring value and then believe that the value costs something and tell someone. Stop letting people tell you what the cost is or what your price should be.
Hmm.
Something I've said before, and I'll say, and I'll keep saying, if you have never heard that you're asking for too much or that you're too expensive, you've never asked for enough. You've never
Hmm.
had a high enough salary. You've never put your prices up enough in a business.
Hmm.
You have never actually reached your value because if you've not heard, oh, that's too expensive, because I promise you,
Hmm.
I've heard that. If you haven't heard you're too expensive or you haven't heard someone say to you, oh, you're asking for too much,
Hmm.
then you haven't actually asked. You haven't pushed the
Yeah.
boundaries yet. So I
You
love that
set
you
your
just said
price.
that.
You
Yes.
have to set your price. And this example just popped up in my mind. We don't question when we go into a store and the shirt or whatever it is has a price tag on it because
Mm,
somebody else has set that value and we are responding to what's been said. You're not giving other people to respond an opportunity to respond because you're not setting something.
mm,
Whether it's you know um, a discount store that has this, I have seen white T-shirts for $5. I've seen them in some stores for $20. I have seen them in some stores for 200. Same white T-shirt, and in my mind, same cotton is gonna get dingy and start to fade, or like at some point, because hopefully you wash it, and at some point it's not gonna be as crisp and white and clear as it is. So, what is the difference between the $5 shirt, the $15 shirt, the 200 or even more shirt? Someone decided that that's what it was valued, and
mm.
other people are responding based on what someone else said without question.
Oh, such good gems. Oh, I knew this was going to be such a good episode. Such good gems. Literally, if you don't set your price, someone else will. But you're right. People are just responding to that price. And like we said earlier, it's not always going to be a yes. Just like
Yeah.
some of you will walk into Gucci, Prada, wherever it is, and be like, absolutely not. And then
Hmm.
someone else will walk into the same store and say, that's a big fat yes. You
Hmm.
need to have that price tag because when you go to your interviews, when you go to your boss to negotiate, sometimes the answer is going to be no, or it's going to be not yet, whatever it is. But that doesn't mean you lower your price.
Right.
That just means
Resist
you
that
wait for the
urge.
people. Yeah, that's the biggest thing to resist because it means you wait for the right person, the right
Hmm.
situation to
Hmm.
get what you want. We do not need to lower our price. We need to stand on the price that we set.
Yeah. Because in negotiations, the most powerful person is often the one who's comfortable holding their position.
Oh, I
And that's
like it.
it's true. And that's what the audacity has to be around, right? Getting comfortable holding your position. These
Mm,
companies are comfortable holding their position, whether that's return to work, whether that's what the salary is or is not going to be. And the reality is that you don't know. And look, this is something I have to practice in my business too. The price is the price.
mm,
So I have to be able to, when someone reacts to it, hold firm. And what I've come to now is, yeah, get back to me. Because what I'm not going to do or allow myself to do is to back down if somebody bristles at it and then offer something immediately. I'm going to give them time to process what it is and come back to me to let me know what is possible for them. And then I can decide, do I want to offer a discount or not? But I'm not doing that without them having the opportunity to come back to me because I'm holding my position. Don't
oh,
offer the discount before the person even has a chance to respond because you're already lowering your value. Because again, the most powerful person is the one holding their position in negotiations.
I so agree with that. Always. And I was going to ask you, what do you
Yeah,
think we need to be doing more of when we negotiate salaries? But I feel like you just answered the question already. We need to hold our position.
yeah.
Like, what do we need to, as women? We need to, if we're negotiating salaries, we need to decide what is the lowest price point that we are willing to. And when I say the lowest price point, guys, I don't want you to now undervalue yourself. What is the number you want, and what is the number you're going to ask for? Because I actually believe those shouldn't be the same number. What do you think about that, Charmaine? Because I believe that the number I want might be 75K, but that's not the number I'm going to ask for.
Hmm, hmm.
Absolutely not in a negotiation. It's not what I'm going
Yeah,
to ask
yeah.
for.
I love this question. And what you're talking about is called the BATNA, right? In
Hmm.
negotiations. And it stands for the Best Alternative to Negotiated Agreement. It's a book that Roger Fisher and William Ur, Ury, I never say it correctly, wrote. And the book is called Get Into Yes, like negotiate an agreement without giving in. Like I've read this book so many times. I'm like, yep, this is what it is. And really what it is when it comes to salary negotiations, and BATNA for everyone listening, BATNA, it talks about staying in your staying firm on what it is you know that you need. So what Adele is talking about with that example with the money is, this is the number I'm asking for. But you know what your BATNA is, what your best alternative is. You know what your low number is. So let's say using that one, I'm going to say 175. If you're requesting that, but really you will not go below 175 as the negotiate, that is it. That is what it is that you know. Now you don't tell the employer that, but you have to know that, because essentially you need to know what your walkaway point is. So if 165 is where you need to settle, just making that number up, and you wanted 175, you know that if they offer you anything less, you walk away.
Hmm. And walking away is holding your position.
Yes. And
That's what
and
I
by the
feel
way,
like.
you just shared what you did. When you held your position with that company, when they had that reaction to you, and you held your position. And I'm sure that wasn't easy, right? Because all the discomfort comes up in our body and
Oh
we're
my
feeling
gosh,
like, I
I
don't
was
know.
at this
Oh,
point, I was a single mom, and I was
yeah,
like, like I can't really, like, what if they call my bluff and they say, okay, leave? Then I had to have in the back of my mind, cool, I'm ready to leave and I'm ready to look for something else. Like, it was scary. I didn't want to
yeah,
have to hold my position, but I also realized that I was being taken advantage of by, I was choosing to let someone take advantage of me by
yes.
not asking for what I deserved.
And then they came back, right? Because you were
Right?
firm on that BATNA, right? You were
Yep.
firm on, you know, what your walk away point would be. Because really,
Hmm.
it's your best alternative. So the best alternative could be walking away. It could be staying in a current job until something better comes up, exploring other opportunities,
Hmm.
pursuing a side hustle. Like that basically is the alternative to me lowering my value is this. And I'm going to pursue
Yes.
something else before I lower my value, because
Yes.
you never want to negotiate from a place of desperation. So
Mm.
know your alternative. So when you talked about like how to win, know your numbers for
Yeah.
yourself. Like what are you going after? What are you willing to not go below?
Hmm.
And know what your alternatives are so that you're negotiating from a place of strength. Because again, the person who's holding their position has the most power. And give people a chance to respond. So let's play this out a little bit. Had Adele in that moment when that person said, no, that's not is, then like, oh, well, maybe I could do this instead. She's essentially shown her belly, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I always tell people, look at the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom has this thing figured out. Humans need to look at them more. When we see animals showing their belly in the animal kingdom, they're submitted. They're under submission. Don't do that, because by holding firm and saying okay and being able to walk away. So her best alternative to negotiate agreement was, I'm leaving this. What happened was they came back.
Hmm.
And think about the respect that someone has for you when they know, oh, I can't push this person around. One of the things I tell my coaching clients is, I understand that you are swimming in a sea of great white sharks. But if you let them know that you are a seal, they're going to play around with you and throw you out in the air before they eat you. You have to be willing to put on your killer whale costume so that the sharks in the water know we're about to have a fair fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when they came back to me, I'm going to be honest, they still didn't give me what I wanted. But that was the start of opening the door to negotiation. That was really the start of your girl starting to ask for annual leave. Because I
Yeah.
was like, right, you didn't give me exactly what I asked for, but you gave me more than I'm on. So what
Mm-hmm.
else can I get to sweeten the pot?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked for a new title, which I knew would then help me in my career further down. So I asked for a higher title because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to stay because you're not giving me the exact money I want, but you're
Mm-hmm.
still giving me more. Because you told me I couldn't even get close to what I wanted. You
Mm-hmm.
still offered me about 4K less than what I wanted, but it was still way more than I was on. So I asked for
Yeah.
a new title. I asked for my bonus to be changed and I asked for annual leave. I didn't
Yeah.
get the annual leave, but I got my bonus changed and I got my title changed. So sometimes you have to decide, like, but I stood firm on my number. They
Yeah.
came back, and I thought in my head, I'm going to leave anyway because you're not giving me the number I want. But before I do that, how can I make this situation work for me while I'm looking for something else? Because I wasn't about to quit without having something else. So I was like,
Yes.
how
You had
can
a
I make
plan.
this work? And
You had a
that's,
plan.
yes, planning is everything.
And
Like
I'm sure
anyone
that
listening,
title helped you, right? So I'm
yes.
sure that the
Oh my
things that
gosh.
you did get,
That
I think
leveraged my career so
people,
much.
people is something else I talk about all the time. Level up your language so that you level up your leverage. Leverage is what it
Ooh.
takes for you to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So as Adele is sharing, she didn't get everything, but it was better than what they initially offered.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, for example, you now get in that better title, put
Mm-hmm.
you in a better position to negotiate for the next job because now you're coming in
With
with
this
a
big
bigger
title.
title than
Yeah.
what you would have had. So think about for yourselves, what are the things that you need? So many times we think negotiations, because we're conditioned to, is just salary. I want you to get your money. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to get your money because that money is what's going to help you live an easier life. That money is what's going to give you opportunity to change your life, to create generational wealth. I'd rather you be able to put $200 aside a month versus $50 aside because you have the extra money to do so. Reinvest that, put it in accounts that's going to yield high interest. And like, I'd rather you be able to do all of that. But think about when you're negotiating, what are the different pieces that matter to me? But that means you have to be clear on your value system. Because again, the person who's most firm on their position has the most power. So start with your value system, and then from your value system, let that be the guiding pole that helps you figure out what are these other things that matter. What does that need to look like? If you're operating in integrity, that means a company that's asking you to do something shady, that's not the one for you. A company who has a history of treating employees poorly, all over the news, all over blogs, on all the secret company review sites, that's not the one for you. A company who's telling you, oh, we are going to offer you X salary and Y additional incentive, and then you get to the offer process and then they start changing everything else. They're not operating in integrity. That's not the one for you. Too often, we're waiting for these employers to say yes to us, and we're not realizing that two people have to agree to enter that relationship. Just because they say we want to be in relationship with you doesn't mean you have to say yes.
Ooh.
We have all dated someone, or whether, and if people haven't dated, had a friend, or where we've had to walk away just because that person. I've had people in my life that I've cut off who've come back to be like, I'm sorry I did this, I'm sorry I did that. I want to be friends. Nah, we good.
Stand firm. All comes back to the same thing. Have the audacity to hold your position. Have the audacity to ask for more than just salary. Have the audacity to stand on your standards. Like, I remember when
Yes,
you said that in another episode, like, stand on your standards. Like, what
yes,
do you believe you deserve? And you have to be willing to go for that and stick to it. Just like you said, I've cut
yeah.
off people too. Like, it doesn't take much for me. Not gonna lie to you, it don't take
Listen,
much.
listen. I have three strikes, you're out on one egregious act. So I'm with you.
Doesn't take much because once you show me who you truly are, I'm good. And it
And
cut the
Dr.
same
Maya
with
Angelou told
companies.
us that
Right.
one of the greatest
Right.
poets, writers, philanthropists in this world
Hmm.
has ever seen said, when
Hmm.
someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Absolutely. And that goes for your
I'm listening
company
to the
too.
auntie's wisdom.
Listen, we need to listen to more aunties because that goes for your big company too. We
Yes,
apply so many of these things to relationships, to friendships, but we forget that goes for your boss too. When your
yes,
boss shows you who he is or who she is, when your company shows you who they are, believe
believe
them.
them.
mm, And if it's not good for you, remove yourself. And we're not telling you,
No,
oh, you got to remove yourself on the day. Like I said, I got everything I needed from the company before I moved because the leverage was amazing. That title catapulted my career into like the stratosphere.
hmm,
Like when I talk to people and I say, listen, I've been a HR director, I've been an operations director, I've run the whole company and still do not have a CIPD, which if you're in the UK, you know what that is. That's the HR qualification that most HR professionals have. The only reason I was able to do that was that title. That title started it
hmm,
all. Because once I had that title, then people were like, well, she's already held this title, so she must be good.
yeah,
Understand that you can negotiate more than salary. This episode might be about getting more money and getting you paid, but it's also about just in general having the audacity to go for more and get more than what you want.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I believe that you should be out of some people's price range,
Y-
or you're too.
Yes,
Just like in friendships, I should be out of your range because of other reasons, not because of
hmm,
money, but because my standards might be higher than yours.
yeah,
We don't agree because my morals are different from yours. Listen,
yeah,
you should be out of some people's price range. You shouldn't be able. All companies shouldn't be able to match your
hmm,
salary. If they can, then
no,
you're too cheap. We literally, as women.
hmm,
And sometimes men, we worry all the time. I hear this all the time. Oh my gosh, but what if I'm too expensive? You should be too expensive for some
yeah.
people.
And by the way, who's defining that? That's the other
Right.
narrative. So here's the thing: when we sit in our own, you know, privilege of feeling more important than we are sometimes.
Hmm.
Who is saying expensive?
Right.
Again, for the person that $5 t-shirt, that's but another person could spend 200 $500 on it and not
Hmm.
bat an eye. And some of you
Hmm.
will be like, oh, well, they have all this type of, it's the value that you place on something, the thing that matters
Yep.
to you. So stop comparing yourself to other people or assuming
That you're too.
what you
Mhm.
believe about somebody else, because what is too expensive is relative to the experiences that you've had in your life and what you've been exposed to, because we're all every single person is only able to speak to the experiences that they've had and what they know to be true. So I can tell you, being in HR, I have seen people with 5-figure salaries, 6-figure salaries, 7-figure salaries, and it has not meant anything to me because everybody adjusts their lifestyle based on what becomes their normal. So for
Mhm.
someone making $50,000 a year, maybe they hear about somebody making 100, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so much, and I would be able to do this," because you're thinking about what it would mean for your current life. But for somebody else making $500,000 a year, might be the ones saying, "Oh, they're not paying me enough," or an extra 200 would really do this for me because they've adjusted to their life. So stop making this assumption that you know what someone else is thinking, and stop thinking that you matter so much to these organizations that paying you what you deserve because you have earned it, because you are worth it, because you are clear on your value, means that they're going to crumble or the business is going to fail. If a company is going to crumble operationally or financially because they are meeting your financial request, there are larger problems that you should be worried about. No company, hear me, no company is going to crumble and close shop in a week because they matched your salary request. Not one of them. So stop telling yourself that. You're talking about in many cases, multi-million dollar companies. You think your 100,000, your 50,000, your 200,000 salary is a dent in a multi-million? It's not.
It's not even touching the
It's
sides.
it's not even touching it. And yet you are believing that it's not. You're not that important. You're not. You're one or two people. It's not going to throw the whole thing. And if it is, then I don't want you to work at that company at all because they are not fiscally or operationally responsible if
It's-
your request is going to crumble their entire business structure. Run now if that will be the
exactly.
case.
Immediately put on your shoes and run out the door.
Run. And not to mention, and there's research that shows this too, says that, most companies, the ones that are required to post salary ranges, you have to think about this, people. Even when you see a salary range posted, the law says they have to post a range. It doesn't say that they have to post what the exact pay is going to be.
Hmm.
So if I know that my budget is up to 100,000, the law doesn't say you have to put what the exact, it just says you have to post a range.
Hmm.
So I can post between 50 to 70 because I've done what the law says is required of me. Most
Absolutely.
companies, and again, research shows this, that they're only posted between 25 to 75% of the actual range that they have.
I can attest to that
You're
because
leaving
I,
money on the table
I,
when you
I've
don't
I've worked
negotiate.
I've worked for those companies. When you've been in recruitment, talent acquisition, HR,
Mhm.
depending on what function you've been in, I have been the person as the manager to to know that my budget is 150K, but to advertise the role up to 110K. Why? Because you see that 40K I saved my company, it makes me look good. When you guys undervalue yourself, you made me look good because I can go to my manager now. Guess what? I was able to get someone on 110 when I know my budget was 150. But I advertised it lower because it gave
Yeah,
me more room to negotiate. If someone then negotiated higher, I have money. I have money in the pot. But even the companies will tell you, listen, let's benchmark it at this. But if needed, we can go up to this. So the
yeah,
budget is usually always higher. And that's why I say to people, when you're worrying about being too expensive, when you worry about asking for too much, you literally will end up giving away your value for peanuts. I
yeah.
promise you. I had someone recently, she's a listener, and I'm hoping she's listening to this episode, but she used some of the previous episodes that I've done on negotiation. She's used some
Hmm.
of the stuff that I've spoken about, and she went in and negotiated a salary. She said she still was really nervous to ask for too much. In the end, she ended up getting 30K more than she was on. She also got a relocation package. So they're paying for her to fully relocate. They're paying for her, like where she lives, all that good stuff. So
Hmm.
she got a good package. She also negotiated a little bit more annual leave. However, after the interview, after the offer, she was so happy. This is a job she really wanted.
Hmm.
She spoke to the recruiter who had helped her get the job, and she found out the budget was 50K more than she had accepted.
You see that?
So she had so much, and she came to me and was like, Adele, I need your help. She was like, I'm one of your listeners, but I need some coaching because she basically said to me, I need to figure out now how to go back and renegotiate because she was like,
I love that she's thinking that way. Go back.
absolutely. Listen, she listens to listen, she has listened to Who Gonna Check You Boo. She has definitely listened to that episode because she came back and was like, help me renegotiate because I didn't realize. And I was like, and imagine she had got 30K more. A lot of people would say, why is she gonna renegotiate? Firstly, because she can. Secondly, because she has the absolute audacity to realize that if the budget is higher, she undervalued herself. She can get
Hmm.
some more money. So that's what we went ahead and did. And she renegotiated. And no, she didn't get all the way to the top end, but she was able to get another 15K and they increased her relocation budget. So this is what happens when we have the audacity. This is what happens when we go back and have the cheek. Because in the UK, we say you have
Hmm.
the cheek to ask for that. Yes, I want you guys to have the absolute cheek to not get what you want and then go back and say, you know what, this didn't work for me. Can we speak again? To even when you do get what you want and then
Hmm.
you find out there's more, go. Why can't you go and ask for more? Why can't the person who has
People
been
need
listening
to
to my podcast go
negotiate
back
all the time. And
all the time?
so in HR, we talk about employee full life cycle, right? So that's from the process of bringing you in to whenever someone leaves. And there's different activities within that. I am a firm believer that you need to be negotiating and renegotiating throughout the entire life cycle of your employment. You negotiate on your way in, renegotiate when you're there. You've hit your goals. You have gotten promoted. Renegotiate a salary. You've saved the company money in the same way. I'm sure she did it, right? Because it's Adele, y'all. But saving that company that $40,000 from the actual budget. If I'm a dial, I'm saying this is how much money I'm saving you. This is my percentage. Now I need to get paid more because I'm saving you X percent.
You know this.
And of course, as you
You,
should.
you know
So
this.
put yourself in the position where you are saying, okay, I've been here 6 months now. If you are not thinking about what value you are bringing and having a conversation with your manager about increasing your salary, and I'm not talking about merit increases or cost of living adjustments. No, I'm talking about pay me what I'm worth at your companies at least once a year. I need you to get into that practice because you need to position yourself for a pivot. And whether that's at the current company to pivot into something else, whether that's a new line of work, whether that's more opportunity, whether it's there more money or externally, because you need to readjust your brain to what's normal. And if you keep telling your brain that normal is peanuts, that is what you're going
Hmm.
to expect from the rest of the world. So for me, people that I know that, I'm coaching a couple students right now who are graduates or about to graduate from with STEM degrees, technology, science, and their offers, many of them are more than many people that I know make it. And what I'm so excited about, and these are all women, what I'm excited about is that that's their normal. So for them to
Hmm.
get, for some people to get, almost six figures as a salary offer or even six figures to start coming out of school, that's
Mm,
their normal. So I feel good knowing you will never expect anything less because this is where
yeah.
you're started. And by the way, for all of them, even when they told me about the offers, the ones that did get ones, I had them go back and negotiate different things, even with the original offer, because I want them to start practicing it now.
Hmm.
And guess what?
Absolutely.
They're not even graduated from college yet. And guess what?
Love it.
Every single one of them that we practice, okay, good, you didn't sign the offer. Here's what you're about to go negotiate. Even if it was negotiated more time to review the offer than the company wanted to initially gave them. So again, because negotiations don't always have to be about money. They did it and they got what they wanted or they got better than what they were offered. And for me, if I can start helping these women from this point, that becomes their normal way of being. And
Oh,
that's what I want you to start doing. What is that mantra? What is that thing that you need to tell yourself? Because again, companies have the money to negotiate,
they
have the
do.
conversation. Career Builder posted this, I think it was a couple years ago, and I made a post about it a few months ago, where it said 73% of employers are prepared to negotiate.
Hmm.
55% of people never try. Let that sink in.
Don't be that 55%.
No.
Like, don't be the 55% who, no, they have, most companies, especially big corporate companies, they have the money. Don't be that 55% who just didn't ask. Like, that's what it comes down to. Don't be the person who just didn't ask. Listen, if you get a no, you are no worse off than you are right now. Nothing's changed in your life. You were in the same exact spot. If you get a yes, you, with that one question, with that one action, with that
Mhm.
you just negotiating. Listen, Charmaine just said she's flooding the workforce with women who know their value from the jump, coming out of school, coming out of college, coming out of university, knowing their value and starting at their base point is higher than some of you who have
Mhm.
been in careers for 15 years. Let that sink into, because some
Mhm.
of you listening right now are on less than those six figures and have got 15 years behind you. But there's going to be people younger than you with less experience, with less potential, with less everything. Their starting point will be what you're currently aspiring to get.
Mhm.
Why? Because they will have the audacity from the jump. And just because you haven't
Yep.
had it before, you can get it.
And it doesn't mean you can, right? We're
Hmm.
talking about people who are getting increases. I just helped a client who got an offer from a really big company for a really big role, and I said, mm-mm, "You're asking for more."
There
And
you
here are
go.
all the ways we're asking for more. It was already a good offer. At least they thought so. And I said, "Yeah, but it can be better. I guarantee you. Let me look at what this company is valued at."
Hmm.
People research, you can literally Google the value of a company. And I said, okay, ask for more. She landed with 23% more
Ooh.
total compensation than what the offer was. Do you know
And in
what
that this
23%
economy,
more is?
in this economy, do you know what 23% can do for your life?
Yes,
What?
because it started with her holding her position or the willingness to hold the position and negotiate it. And we went through the line, and this was an executive, by the way. So
Mm,
I want to also take away this notion because people think that with big titles, people don't struggle with these things. That's not true.
yeah.
This was an executive. And I thought, no, they could do better. Here's what we're going to ask for. Here's how. Here's what we need clarity on.
I like that you said that as well, that the person was an executive, because I think we always associate people not negotiating with sort of middle management or entry level or
Yeah.
just people more junior. When actually I come across the same thing in my coaching, leaders, people that have got all the certifications, all the
Mm-hmm.
qualifications, master's degrees, 10 degrees, have been they sit in the C-suite. I had someone sitting in the C-suite telling me, "Oh, I don't know how you're so confident with negotiating." I'm said, "Pardon? You're in the C suite and you are scared to negotiate." Like, I want people to know that learning to negotiate and having the confidence to negotiate has nothing to do with your job title. Because again, if it did, you wouldn't have all these people with great job titles and rubbish money. It
There
is
we go.
really, yeah, it really is like, I like that you said that just because, yeah, people need to know that leaders struggle as much as people that are more junior. But if you can get it right when you're more junior, when you become a leader, it feels much easier. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important, like knowing that. And Charmaine, you actually just touched on something because I was going to say before we wrap everything up, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give the listeners like just some tips, like how do they know how much to ask for, and like how do they ask, like I
Yeah.
think some of the listeners will want to know that, and you touched on it because you were like, do your research. Charmaine gave you a tip right there, so if you missed it, she said research the company, because some of us, all we do is we go to Glassdoor, we look on there and we're like, oh, this is how much it's like. No, 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 research the entire company. Is the
Mm-hmm.
company traded on the stock market? Listen, I will
Mm-hmm.
check if a company traded on the stock market and how much each stock is worth.
There
Because
we
if your
go.
company is making, if you're one stock, it's like £15,000 for one stock in your company. I promise you, your little salary that you think is too expensive or too much is it's a pebble in an
Mm-hmm.
ocean. It is a tiny little
Yeah.
stone dropped in an ocean, and you're not realizing that. So actually, when you sometimes look at your company's big, I think when
Mm-hmm.
you can understand that you work for like $1 billion company or £1 billion company, I
Mm-hmm.
think you start to realize that what you're asking for isn't actually that unreasonable.
It's not. And the other thing to think about, and I know we're preparing to wrap too, is
Mhm.
some of your yearly salaries are what some people get paid in a day.
Oh, please tell them. Please let them know, because some of you, your yearly salary is my current part-time salary. And I know because I used to be on the other side. My current part-time salary for working part-time. You guys know I work 2 days a week. I've upped it recently to 3 days, which will stop in sort of May, June, because I'm helping them out because someone else is off. But my 2 day a week salary is more than some of you make. My 3 day a week salary is more than some of you make for your 5 day a week job. So let it be
And
told, because
that's
I've been
all
in that position.
negotiation, right? So think about it.
All negotiation, because I didn't
Right.
realize what
And
I
sit
thought.
it,
I
and
was
again,
negotiating amazing money, Charmaine. I thought, listen, I'm getting full-time money for part-time hours. And then I started meeting people exactly like what you said, who are earning what I earn in a week, they earn it in a day. And I
in
said,
a day,
wow. I said,
in a
wow.
day. And those people still expect more. So
Right?
you really have to think about this. We tend to center our experiences based on the world that we've been exposed to, and we're
Mm,
all, as we all of us, every single person, I said this before, we are all as limited by what we've been exposed to. So sometimes you got to put yourself in other positions, and even if you're not putting yourself in that position and you can't do that with a job, start going to different places. I have a
mm-hmm,
friend who has a hair salon, and I said to her a couple years ago, I said, you need to go into, and I live in New York, go into the city, go into some of these high-end salons and see what the experience is. If you want to level up your salon and understand the other things that people are getting, and go put yourself in that place.
mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you to go to a restaurant you can't afford, but go into the restaurant to see what the experience is. Even if you just go and have a cup of tea, just to see
Mm-hmm.
how are they treated, because that is the expectation that the people who go there frequently have. You have to level up your expectations
Yep.
so that those new expectations become your normal. And then as we wrap, this is the thing that I wanted to say, because you wanted to know, like, how do people start doing this?
Yeah.
It's shifting from questions to statements. I want women
Mm.
to start learning this. Examples of a shift. Instead of saying something like, "Oh, thank you. Is there any flexibility on the salary?" No, that's not what we're saying. We're making a statement. That's a question. The statement for that is, based on my experience and market data, I expect a salary of X.
Mm.
There's a difference between, is it okay if I have a glass of water and I need a glass of water? Same request. One is an invitation for exchange, the other is not. Start making statements instead of questions. Instead of, would it be a possible to get a sign in bonus? Anytime you come with this possible, is it okay? You are seeking permission, and you're
Mm-hmm.
giving the other person an opportunity to respond to you as such.
Oh.
If you say something like, given my qualifications, a sign in bonus of X aligns with industry standards, same request for a bonus for a sign on. You've just made a statement instead of giving the person an opportunity to combat a question. You're not asking for permission. Can we discuss additional PTO? No, 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 no. I'd like to see additional PTO included in this offer to reflect my level of contribution. Start making statements and stop asking questions. That's the final thing I have to share.
Tip. Listen, guys, if you missed it, did you hear the tip? So, firstly, Charmaine told you to do your research and she gave you tips on how to research differently, go into the right spaces, do the right thing. But this tip,
Even
I think this is
nonprofits, I have
gold.
to say that, even nonprofits post what, by law they have to, many of them, at least in the US. You can go up to look to see like what the contributions are for nonprofits. So I don't want people to
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, well, that only works in corporate or for profit space." No,
Works
you can
everywhere.
see what the revenue is for nonprofits too.
Yeah, works everywhere. And then Charmaine has followed this up with some gold for you. She has said, stop asking permission, stop asking questions, give them statements. And I really like that. Like, tell them what you want and what you need for everything you're bringing to the table. And I think that's really, really important. Like, that for me is literally gold. Like, Charmaine, you've been dropping so many gems this whole episode, but that
Mhm,
is really, 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 really gold. And I want people to really absorb that. Like, you have to think about how you're asking. And Charmaine even gave you examples. She gave you some really good examples that you can go away with. I just want to add like a couple things onto
mhm,
what Charmaine has just said. When you are making statements and you are asking for what you want and you are like, you're telling them, because it's not asking, you're telling them, this is what I
mhm,
want if you want me to come here and give you everything that I've got. I want you to stop salarying your time because I want you to sell your value, not just your time. And yes, your time comes into it because we're exchanging time for money when we go to work every day.
mhm,
However, I need you guys to stop saying I want £20 per hour. No, 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 no. They've told you what the job is. I want you to come up with an amount, a larger amount, rather than an hourly salary, like an hourly rate. I want you to think about, what do I deserve for everything that I'm bringing to the table?
mhm,
Charge people for your value. I remember when I started my business and I would do a CV for like 35, £40. That was it.
mhm,
That was what I do a CV for. Now, anyone who works with me, you know that is not, you can't come to me with that, because you know why? I haven't changed, but I have understand my value. I understand how many doors that CV can open. I understand that that CV can give you access to roles with bigger titles, more money. So I understand that what I am giving you actually opens different doors. I understand the value. So instead of selling my time, I don't think about, oh, it's going to take me 2 hours to write a CV or 4 hours to write a CV. I think about, what is the value of this CV plus what time is it going to take me to do? So I want you to start adding them both together. And then I want you to think on top of that, what do I bring to the table? What results am I delivering for this company? Why do they matter? That's what I want you to add on to everything that Charmaine said. I really want you to think about, am I asking for my value, or am I just thinking, okay, I'm here for 6 hours, so then I should do like £30 an hour. So then that's what that. No, 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 no. Add in the value. Stop just doing the time. What about the value that you add? What about the results that you know that you can bring? What about your location? because location also affects how much you should be asking for salary. Think about all those things. What about all the experience you're going to bring? What about the money you're going to make this company? I want you to add all that up when you're calculating your salary and you're thinking about what you're going to ask for. And always, always, always ask for the top end of the salary. We told you guys that there's always more in the budget anyway. So stop. If the range is 70 to 100, ask for 100K. I don't care. Ask for 100K because the budget is probably 120. So always ask for the top end. So yeah, I just wanted to add that to the gold that Charmaine has already blessed your ears with. I have loved this episode. It was longer than I thought it was going to be, but guys, if you're listening, I know you've loved every minute of it because I have loved recording it. There is so much for you guys in this one episode. And just so you know, there are 2 more episodes coming. I've got part 2 and part 3 of the Audacity series because I want you guys to have more Audacity. It's 2025. And it's time for us to match these companies' energy. And that was something Charmaine had said to me. She was like, people need to match the energy that the company's giving. And that's what this Audacity series is. The companies are going to always get what they want. It's time to make sure you're getting what you want to. So, Charmaine,
Absolutely.
thank you because I
So happy
feel
we got
like
to
you
do
have
this.
dropped so many incredible gems. Thank you for even giving me the idea for this 3-part series
Oh,
because,
of course.
oh my gosh, I wouldn't have even had the idea. And you were the perfect person to come and speak on this topic because if anyone's got Audacity, you do. I do. We do together. It's
Yes.
got to be something to do with the Caribbean heritage,
Yes.
the
Yes. Yes.
background. It's
Boop,
got to
boop,
be
boop.
2 girls with the Caribbean heritage just doing our thing. But thank you so much. Like I said to you, you already gave me quotes, you gave me affirmations. I have got posts that I'm going to be sharing with people and tagging you in so that you
Yes,
can see
please.
because people need to hear these gems even before the episode comes out
Yes.
because you have dropped some fire. I want to end the episode with something you said earlier. Well, 2 things you said earlier. First, the price is the price.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, the price is the price. Set your price, decide your price, and stick to it. And secondly, I want to end it with I bring value, and this is the cost of that value. Thank you so much, Charmaine. Charmaine, let the people know where they can find you, how they can work with you, all the good things before you go.
Oh, thank you. And I've had a great time on this, and I know that there are people listening who are going to get a lot out of this, and that brings me so much joy. So
Yay.
you can find me on LinkedIn, Charmaine Green-Forde. You're gonna find me. I'm the only one. The only other Green-Forde is my identical twin sister, but she has a different name. And then also chapter2.com, chaptertoo.com. So chapter like a book, 2too.com. You can find me and all the things there. So let's connect on LinkedIn. And I'm working on getting Blue Sky going and putting some posts out there. So LinkedIn, Charmaine Green-Forde, chapter2.com. Can't wait to connect with you. Have a blessed one, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much, Charmaine. Make sure you guys follow her on LinkedIn. Her posts are amazing. Guys, this has been great. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to speak to you in the next episode, which will be Audacity is Free Part 2. Yeah, I'll speak to you then. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening and see you next time.